Hi everybody, today we're going to look at a game that I first got shown when I was at school. This was my favorite game when I was at school. It's a game between Gustav Zeitzel and Walter van Wolfen. It was played in Vienna, 1899, sorry. And yeah, that was a long time ago. This game illustrates very nicely how to take advantage of a weak color complex. So let's get started. White plays e4, black plays e5, white plays knight f3, black plays knight c6, white plays bishop b5. This is known as the Ruy Lopez, probably the oldest chess opening that was ever played. Still probably the most popular chess opening that there is, and good opening for white. That is until Kramnik started playing knight f6, playing the Berlin defense, but that's for another topic. Here black played f5. Now, does anybody know what this is called? This is the Schauncronwright gambit. It's similar to the king's gambit. What black wants to do is give up this f pawn so that he can get complete control of the center by pushing this pawn forward. Okay. Now, maybe instead of d5 first, he would first give a nudge for the knight so that the knight would have to move, and then play d5 afterwards. For that reason, white normally does not take on f5. There's three moves here in general. d3 for the quiet people, but I'm not quite sure how to play against this for black. The other move that white can play is knight c3. This is considered the best move by theory, to the best of my knowledge. And then there's the move that got played in the game, which is d4. Excuse me. Now d4 is a counter gambit. Let's see how this works out. So black plays pawn takes e4, threatening the knight. So white recaptures on e5 with his knight. Black plays knight takes e5. White recaptures, and black plays c6. Now, remember in the previous game that we went through, when white played his pawn to c3, can you remember what was the idea? The idea was that the queen could maybe come to the square, putting pressure on f7. Now with c6, it still opens up this queen to maybe come out along this line. We'll see how that works out just now. White plays bishop to c4, and now black plays queen a5, check. Now queen a5 forks the king and the pawn. This is all part of white's plan. He plays knight c3, developing a piece. Black captures, and now white plays castle. Now, what's the idea behind white's plan? He's given away a pawn. Now, what do you call it when you give away a pawn to get some form of advantage in the opening? It's called a gambit. Now, there's lots of things that you can get for a gambit pawn. Okay, in this case, white is aiming for a development advantage. Now, a development advantage is something that's not everlasting. If you don't do something with it, your opponent will finish developing his pieces, and then your advantage will disappear. Now, this gambit that white has played is not very good. The reason being is that black actually has a very strong center. And after castle, black plays d5. Okay, and you can notice this really strong black pawn chain over here. Okay, now white's going to have to move this bishop yet again because a pawn attacked it for a second time. So he plays bishop b3. Black plays knight f6, just developing his knight, also protecting the square. Not that it really needs protecting, because the queen is protecting that square. White plays bishop e3, developing his last piece, and maybe his idea is to play bishop d4 to give the queen a kick, it also stops the black bishop from moving to c5 because he would capture. So after bishop e3, black plays bishop d6. Again, a simple developing move. Okay, it's amazing how black just simply plays good developing moves in this game and wins. It's amazing. I love it. Now, black's threatening checkmate on h2. There's only two moves that white could try to stop the checkmate. First one is f4. Now after f4, black would take, queen captures, and then queen takes h2, king f2, and black would play bishop g4, which is just very, very, very strong. Little fun, interesting question for you guys. Try and work out how white can save his queen. I'm not going to give you the answer. You can give me the answer in the comments. Alright, so back to the game. Instead of f4 after bishop d6, instead of this move, white plays g3. It's the only other move. Now in chess, every pawn move creates a weakness, okay, because they cannot go backwards. Now, this pawn move, which squares did it weaken? It weakened all the white squares around the king. Now the aim is to try and get our pieces in those squares. So black starts off with bishop g4. Okay, again developing and attacking the queen. There's other moves black could have tried that also looks good. Bishop h3 is one of them. Okay. Even simply castling would have been a great move here, and black is still winning. However, bishop g4 is by far the best. Developing, attacking, and carrying on with the idea of occupying the weak white squares. White plays queen d2. Now, what should black do? Should black castle, bring his rook into the game, get his king safe? Or should he carry on trying to get his pieces into black's guts? Let's have a look. Black plays bishop f3. So now we've got this nice line coming down, okay, making it very solid. And we've got a nice big monster piece here on the square f3. White plays bishop f4, trying to get our queen away. Now he's hoping for something like queen e7, bishop takes, queen takes, and then queen there, trying to trade off queens. And then we can't win with an attack really if our queens are off. But unfortunately, black has the following move, queen f5, very strong. Now queen f5 is possible because if the bishop does capture on d6, the queen can just simply go to h3, threatening checkmate on g2. There is no way that white can protect the square. If you can't protect the square, next move, queen takes g2 is going to be checkmate. So instead of bishop takes d6, white plays knight d1. Now what does knight d1 do? The idea is to move the knight to e3, protecting the square g2 when the queen moves to h3. So after knight d1, black plays queen h3 in any case. Now notice, queen is on h3, the weak white square. The bishop's on f3, the other weak white square. White plays knight e3 as planned, protecting against the checkmate. But now black plays the last move into the position, knight g4. Notice how these pieces are on the weak squares. Knight g4, brilliant move, and also really simple. The idea is it's threatening checkmate on h2, and it's also got another threat. If the knight captures on g4, then we've got this checkmate there again. Okay, so for example, the knight goes here, that's checkmate. So white does the only thing he can. He can't protect the square, so he moves his rook. Black captures on h2. Now here white actually resigned, for the reason his king can only move there, and black would play queen h1, checkmate. So to recap, if your opponent plays pawn moves, always look and see what those pawn moves weaken. After the move g3, it weakened all these white squares, and that allowed black to penetrate his pieces into the position, which checkmated the king. If you like my video, please like and subscribe. You're welcome to support my channel. The donations link is in the description. Thank you very much. See you again next video.